Hello. It's been a minute. Goodness. Let's see. Let's go ahead and tweet this out because this is an event. If you hear, I still a little congested. Still a little sick. So if you hear me sniffling, I promise I don't have a Zelensky issue. It's just that virus just doesn't want to go away. So yeah, let's go ahead. Yes, and it says my body hurts and I'm mad at the government. Okay, live now. Let's see, Black Hearts. I've missed y'all. I've missed y'all a lot. All right. Well, there's some shit that happened. It's been what? I don't know. Y'all probably like know more than me. Like when the last time I streamed was. It's definitely been more than a month, and there's always stuff that goes on, constantly. Especially like I said before, Trump administration. It's not going to be boring. There's going to be always something going on, or something that isn't going on, which we'll definitely get into. Um, because yeah, we're not all that thrilled about some things that are not going on that should be going on that we were promised. So how's the audio? I actually have a new setup here that I am trying to perfect. So if my audio's good, great. We'll keep rolling, and we'll get into what's been going on. So there's only about like maybe five things I really want to get into that have been, I guess, bigger news. Like on April 21st, we saw the death of Pope Francis. So if you're Catholic, my deepest sympathies. If you're Catholic and didn't like him, then we might be on the same page. Personally, I thought he was maybe a little bit too woke, but I'm not Catholic. I don't think that, like, I'm going to have opinion either way. I'm human. We all have opinions. However, the whole thing of how much my opinion actually matters, the fact that I'm not Catholic and, uh, you know, I have opinions on the Pope, I'm going to have opinions, but I know that they don't really necessarily matter. So, um, so Pope Francis passed away. And here's the deal. To allegedly, because he's a Catholic. I don't want to sit here and just point fingers at JD, but we're all thinking it. We're all thinking it. He goes to Europe, makes him cry, goes to see the Pope, and then he dies. So yeah. All right. So I promise, no Zelensky issues here. just just a virus. So Pope Francis is gone. So yeah, rest in peace. Honestly, I don't wish ill on anybody, even woke ass popes. So that happened on April 21st, and then 8 days later, Trump hit his 100 days on April 29th. So I'm sure everybody's been having lots of fun with that. Uh, his detractors, of course, are just seething, coping and seething. But it's been an interesting 100 days, to say the least. He's done more in 100 days than Weekend at Biden's did in 4 years. So, I'll give him that. He's actually working his butt off. Is it necessarily in our best interest the entire time? I uh I will not say, because there's lots of things that he has done and hasn't done that I don't approve of. But They're coping and seething, and I love to see it. I love to see it. All right. So, the first 100 days, there's been some things that I've really liked. The first week, of course, he freed Ross Ulbricht. So Ross has been freed. There's been, legislation, executive orders, because legislation is only through Congress. There's been executive orders that, I do agree with. As much as I think people should be able to live how they want, I do think that, women, definitely are built different than the other sex. And I am for the sports executive orders. I've played sports, believe it or not. And I think that is what's most fair to the ladies out there. And let's see what else has gone on. So, now, recently I heard the Houthis have decided to cease fire on our ships. And if anybody knows, you don't touch our boats. There's an asterisk there. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. USS Liberty. When it comes to touching our boats. So, the Houthis have decided to finally stop touching our boats. And I have this awesome video I want to show you. I'm not sure if y'all ever heard of Operation Funding. He's an army, I don't know what rank he is, it doesn't matter. He's in the army. And he does some amazing videos. If you're a veteran, I think you'd really appreciate it. I've been around the military my whole life. My dad was in the military and everything. So he does these videos, and he is he does them in a way where he's going to present current events, and he does them as like different countries and whatnot, and they're absolutely hilarious. Either that, or he'll do some sort of like military affiliated sort of jokes and whatnot, and he does them in the form of like TikToks where he does the cutaways or like being each thing. So if you've never heard of Operation Fun Day, check him out. Absolutely hilarious. I'm sure you all have. I don't think that anybody that follows me or anything doesn't know who he is. Anyway, so he did a video a while back about the Houthis, and now they've recently decided to stop like messing with our boats. So I want to play this video because it's absolutely hilarious, and let's get into that.
Counter your drones with our technology. What? We're gonna send more drones then, way more. We're gonna counter your even more drones with laser beams. We're gonna send our drones after your boats. You're gonna send them after what? No, for the love of God, don't send them after the boats. Do not touch the United States of America's boats. Yeah, man, you really do not want to go after the United States of America's boats. They're real weird about their boats. Touch my boats at your own peril. Oh my, you're bombing like hundreds of targets. What are you doing? You threatened to touch my boats. Nobody touches my boats. Yeah, we told you. We told you don't go after the boats. And here we are. You're ramping them up. You're getting them all riled up. We just tried desperately to keep them calm. Okay? Because the next step is them telling their troops they can't have any caffeine, and then they unleash hell upon you. No caffeine, no Geneva Conventions.
Yeah, so okay. So now they've ceased fire. How wonderful is that? Absolutely great. So I guess we've won that one. And in doing so, World War III has been avoided, because what Iran was all about these Houthis, funding these Houthis. And now the Houthis are like, no, I don't want that smoke no more. There's some like really like gruesome videos of us bombing. Like it's like they're at like a little meeting. It's like a whole circle of them Okay. They're at this like little meeting, guys discussing, like, oh, we're gonna touch their boats. Let's like who's gonna touch their boats? Blah 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 blah. And then the video is of either a drone or something flies in, like you just see it. You see the circle of dudes, and the next thing you know, you see an explosion. It's a wild video. It's gruesome. It's war, I guess, war games. And that kind of, imagine going to like a work meeting. Okay, like, hey, we're gonna meet out in the yard over in the quad. We're all gonna get in a circle, discuss what we're gonna do for today, what our mission is. We're gonna divide up responsibilities, and then out comes this huge ass drone and just drops this missile on you, and you're just all out. That's basically what happened. So the Houthis got some smoke, and they're not about that smoke no more. Personally, I'm not really for the fact that we are playing that way. That's that thing that flew down and like blew them up. That was our tax dollars. But they've decided to ceasefire, so hopefully that means no more conflict. Out of it. And another war has hopefully been avoided and will not be happening. Now, this is something India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan are heating up. Have you all seen what's going on between them? Apparently, India has now dropped a dirty bomb on Pakistan or something. But they're battling at it now. Now, India and Pakistan really have this really famous rivalry that goes back to, I don't know the exact year. I took a note of it. I swear I did. It is right whenever Britain essentially gave him back, and they became two countries again. And it's been a rivalry ever since. So that has been wild, because if you've ever seen any of their their border dance, whenever they are doing these little acts with each other at their border, the India-Pakistan border, and it's also been referenced in like Always Sunny, how they do these like high kicks and just like they wear these elaborate stuff to show off how they're changing like guard or something. It's wild between India and Pakistan. It's absolutely wild, and it seems like things are popping off between them, and they constantly have things pointed at each other, and now they're shooting things at each other. So I'm anti-war, period. I don't like death, and like, yeah, that's weird. Okay, yeah, don't like death. I don't like carnage in that sense. I don't like war. I really do hope they can come to peace. The memes have been great. I'm not gonna lie, the memes have been great, but I really do hope they can like solve their issues here soon, because when there's war anywhere on this planet, our country just loves to get involved. Our military-industrial complex sees that as like blood in the water, and like we're just like sharks to it, and we just like, oh, fund it. So I hope, for everybody's sake, that they chill out soon. Now, as far as also what's going on in this 100 days, let's see, there is still no list. Still no list. It's like Pam Bondi's having champagne with Jeffrey Epstein. That's how it feels. That's absolutely how it feels. Still no list. And I don't know about y'all. It honestly, it offends me. We were promised the list early on. It's been over 100 days, and there's still no list. There is still no like projected time for the list. There's no promises now for the list. It's like they completely stopped promising for the list. They already pulled that stunt with the conservative influencers with their binders. And yeah, they're probably they are not going to arrest anybody who is on that list. They are not going to show anybody the list. The only thing that we know with the list is that it has Prince Andrew on it. And James O'Keefe, like within the past 24 hours, had that confirmed. But that's as far as we are going to get to go with the Epstein list. So all of these victims, I hate to see it, and I hate to say it, but they're never going to get justice. And it honestly breaks my heart that all of these victims have gone through what they've gone through with Jeffrey Epstein and all of his clients. And Ghislaine Maxwell is now in prison for selling young girls to nobody. And she could use that for her defense to make them release the list. But you know what? I'm sure she values her life, which is probably why she just said, yeah, so nobody. Yeah, my heart breaks for them. It really does. The Epstein list is Congress' version of police immunity. You know, the people who are on the list, we know that they're powerful people. They have to be. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't be as protected as they are. They have to be either very rich, I would say, or in positions of political power, but that's kind of synonymous with being rich, because if they didn't get into politics rich, or they go into it rich, then they definitely are rich by now, because we know they all do the insider trading, they all get the money from all the lobbyists. So yeah, they're in politics for, I'd say, 5 years, they're rich. If they didn't go in rich, then they're rich within 5 years, at least. So I think it's worse than police immunity, because in police immunity, they at least do go to trial. They at least do get brought up. You at least do know the names of the police that were involved in whatever. But in this case, it's just dark. In more ways than one. You don't hear of any names, no hints to anybody. It's like there could be people on that list that you would actually never thought would be on that list, because they're that powerful. You're not going to hear at all. Nothing. So I think it's definitely worse than police immunity. It is, when you talk about elites and Illuminati, that is peak elite, peak Illuminati. To be able to, not just break the law, but victimize other humans in such a grotesque way and get away with it. And not just get away with it, have governments cover up for you and hide everything. It's disgusting. It's beyond disgusting, and it's discouraging. And the fact that people get offed like Epstein did, because we know he didn't kill himself. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Virginia Giuffre did not kill herself. Yeah. Let's see. This is a very interesting one. How did a math teacher become a billionaire so quickly? Yeah, wouldn't we all like to know? Apparently, the quickest way to make a buck these days is to hurl racial slurs at children, which I think is gross as well. But if you're in politics, that's the best way. If you want to get rich, if you want to uh, get away with disgusting things, if you want to be basically a career criminal, just like I believe Dr. Paul said, like, don't steal. The government hates competition. If you want to be a criminal, be rich, and get away with crimes, get into politics. That's the surefire way to be able to get all of that, live your wildest dreams, and do like the worst things imaginable, especially if you're on the right party. Now, they're both establishment. If you're libertarian, you definitely feel that. The Democrats and Republicans, they're both establishment. But I truly believe one is more establishment than the other. Because there are some in the Republican Party that don't fit what the establishment toes, I should say. Such as we got the wonderful, beautiful, amazing, should always be protected Thomas Massey. He's a Republican, registered Republican Party. He does not toe the line, but he kind of got wealthy on his own. Very, very intelligent man. He has multiple patents, had his own company, or still has his own company. I'm not sure if it's still around, but those are very, very rare occasions, very few exceptions, where a man goes into politics and isn't corrupted. And honestly, we need more humans like Thomas Massey, not just politicians like Thomas Massey. We need more humans like Thomas Massey. The man's got a wonderful sense of humor. He's uncorruptible. He's consistent. Just all around, I have nothing bad to say about Thomas Massey. I have nothing but wonderful things to say about the man. So yeah, this was brought up on my Discord, and I did watch the video, and it was very sickening to hear what's going on with Buffalo Public School District scandals and such. It really seems like this is another one of those cases where if you want to get away with bad things, you get involved in government. Because what's going on in Buffalo, if you're not familiar, you can look it up on YouTube. There's a video. I can't recall the podcast where an actual either former police PI or detective goes over what was going on in the Buffalo School District, and essentially just one case. They covered up an attempted abduction of a child at the school. So the scenario was, there is an elementary school and like a science center, I believe, that's like attached to the school. Okay. And there is like a door there you can get from the science center to the elementary school. And they didn't always keep it locked. Well, some sicko went through the door, grabbed a little boy and a little girl, and tried to take them out with him. Tried to, abduct them and such. Now, he didn't get away. Luckily, the children did not get away. The girl, they reported to the parents that the little girl was victim of an attempted abduction. Now, the little boy, apparently he wet himself. Scared child. I feel for him. That I just lost for words for that. They called his parents and just like, oh, he messed himself. He wet himself. He had an accident. They didn't say why. And then they deleted the video. Now, I don't know what could be so hard about just telling the truth with that. If that happened, it's on the person that attempted the abduction, unless there's other reasons they're covering it up. Now, that scared boy, unfortunately, he went home, and the parents had no idea. They took him home, had no idea that's what happened to him, because the school just said, "Well, I don't know. He just messed himself." Um, and apparently, the only reason that they knew about the video being deleted is because one employee actually came forward and was like, they deleted it. There was video and they deleted it. So stuff like that's going on with Buffalo, and apparently their lawyers are actively dodging any kind of subpoenas, which you would think they can only get so far in doing that. But yeah, I really do hope that the hammer of justice comes down on the Buffalo Public School District. I actually do have a friend in Buffalo. I don't know if my friend's children attend any public schools up there. I kind of hope that they moved away from Buffalo, but last I heard they were in. So that is something that, hearing about that, I did grow even a bit more concerned on a personal level. So I hope that gets taken care of, in the sense where I do hope the ones that are hiding everything, covering everything up, come to justice. But you never know how deep that kind of corruption really goes. Corruption is something that spreads. It can be even so little as just an employee's only act of corruption was to delete the video, and you can never know. So yeah, I'm well aware of it. I did watch the video, and I do invite anybody to look that up. And awareness to a situation can only do so much, but it's better than it being buried. So the unsubscribed podcast officer's name is Richard. Hi. Oh, Angry Cops. That sounds like a fun channel. Yeah, unsubscribed podcast. That's familiar. Yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah, I would definitely recommend check it out. See what's going on in the Buffalo Public School District. It sounds like it's a disgusting, whole disgusting case all over. If you're in charge of children, there should be no room for corruption. Period. Children should have the utmost care, the utmost protection at all times. Yes, the whole children are future, but children and childhood especially is the last chance we have in life to have any sort of innocence. And once that's taken away, you can't go back. You can never regain innocence. That is one thing that once it's taken. Oh. Sound went out. Okay. So, I don't know. Are y'all still able to hear me? Because my sound went out. My little board just went. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you can hear me. All right, good. that was wild. It went out again. I think the battery just died. Just one moment here. Let's go ahead and pull up this fun thing while I care of here. If I had some Jeopardy music, I would play it. Of course, first time back on the stream, and I'm having technical difficulties. Oh, yay. I'm gonna go grab. Wait, no, I have something, I think. I do. Okay. Yeah, I hope you like this photo. I had Grok's help making it, and Grok is great. He really helped me out. Yeah, Grok's a he to me, I guess. Grok really helped me out here with my. Okay. All right. I think we're back up. Okay. Okay. So, I was hearing my music. I wasn't hearing it before or now. I don't hear it now. So I got all right. I think we're good. Sorry, y'all. Okay, good. You can hear me. Thank you. Thank you. Oh goodness. It wouldn't be my first time back if I didn't have some issues, Like I said, I got a new setup. New setup here. Trying to get things going. Anyway. Oh, you do? I should hit you up for some designs, some shirt designs. And speaking of designs, so I gotta do a little ad here. I can't really roll into it as good as Ben Shapiro, because that's one good thing he's really good at. He's really, really good at rolling into ads. The guy is I would love to listen to a compilation of Ben Shapiro just rolling into ads, because the way he does it is just love it, love it. Sometimes it's the most hilarious way too. But hey, if you do graphic arts, let's see, let's show a word from our sponsor here. Let's see, our sponsor is libertariangoth.com, the biggest alt culture geared store for Liberty apparel. And one of our newest designs, well, I have it in women's V-cut because I like V-cuts and I want to buy it as a V-cut, is Cyberbully the Government. Oh, I love it. Because they deserve it. What are they going to do? Cry? Lol. And then we got our best selling, and yes, I've been selling quite a bit of these, and I am stoked about it because not just because I'm making sales, of course, but because I really like this whole idea. Make America goth again. I got these in trucker hats. I got these in dad hats. I got these in snapbacks. I got these in beanies. And I got them in metal. I got them in punk. Yeah, I got the punk. And then I got them in emo. So basically covering the big four subcultures, alt subcultures here. And no, emo and goth are not the same thing. If you think they are, you need to get learned up. So, all right. And yeah, definitely. Send me a DM. I would love to see what you got to offer, and maybe we can collaborate. I'll also, so the show. Yeah, let's go ahead and hide the Trump 100 days. Um, show, as you see, where is it? There, I think, or right there. I don't know. The camera's flipped. Alternative Sovereign. So, I started Alternative Sovereign as my little stream to go over pop culture in terms of, not pop culture, alt culture. In terms of, like, discussing alt culture, the subcultures like goth, this metal scene, and just music, alt culture in general, like, arts, and how they almost pertain in a way to politics, non-left leaning politics, because, this is not no coggy stream here. No, I'm not a coggy. I'm not doing that shit. If you don't know, I always have to explain what coggy is. Coggy is a term that I use. I don't care if everybody else uses it. I'm not trying to make fetch happen, okay? Coggy is a word I use to describe left-leaning alt culture people. And I call them coggies because they have severe cognitive dissonance. Because the left, the modern left, is very authoritarian and demands conformity. And they'll say, oh, no, they don't. Just because they have blue hair and a septum piercing doesn't mean that they're, like, non-conformists. They demand conformity of thought, which I believe is the worst form of conformity that there is. Because your thoughts are what make you you. Your thoughts are what make you unique. So the modern left is extremely authoritarian. It demands conformity of thought. If you don't think the same, you don't have the same line of thought, don't have the same beliefs, then you're ostracized. You are canceled. And that is the most, like, establishment bullshit ever. So, coggy for their insane level of cognitive dissonance. Also, because they're a cog in the system that they claim to fight. Because let's be honest, when we heard about USAID, they weren't pushing libertarian and low government ideals around the world. They were pushing left-leaning ideals around the world, funding them. You can't get more establishment than the shadow government pushing your entire ideology around the world. So, I thought they needed a name. I call them coggies, because saying left-leaning alt culture people is too much of a mouthful to say. It's easier to say coggy. So, yeah, no coggy shit here. All right. I promote freedom of thought, individuality, however you want to be. Just because you dress differently doesn't mean that you're not, a coggy. You can dress exactly how I do and still be a fucking coggy. All right. If you demand conformity of thought, if you oust anybody for having a differing opinion on anything, especially things like politics, where that's the establishment, the government, and the shadow government having that same ideal, you're a fucking coggy. All right. Anyway, off my little coggy soapbox, because I don't like coggies. Like, don't like coggies. Back to what I was saying. Alternative Sovereign was started to, have a stream to kind of help rescue alt culture from the coggies, because coggies have claimed a monopoly on alternative culture. And when and as they do that, it stifles creativity. It does. If you are forced to have conformity of thought, then creativity is stifled. You cannot expand on anything if you are put into a box in any way, and alt culture needs to be saved from these coggies. So that was the mission. My mission has basically been to remove the tongue of alternative culture from the boot of the establishment. Now, in doing that, I have expanded it in a way to the times whenever, like, say, I can't stream as often, like, the past month or so. I started Alternative Sovereign, or expanded the Alternative Sovereign to also be a site that I'm very proud of. It's still small, and I would love to share it with you. Let's see here. So the Alternative Sovereign is now thealternativesovereign.com. This is kind of more focused on your music, your news without the boot. This is kind of more focused on the scene itself. Now, if you ever read things like Metal Hammer, definitely Rolling Stone these days, you see how the journalists always kind of seem to put their own little left-leaning spin on shit. So they're a bunch of coggies writing shit about, music and news, and it is daunting, to say the least, because you can't get news these days that doesn't have a spin. So this is to counter that. Our latest article is by the amazing Impure Hunter, The Satanic Panic and the State's Push to Silence Metal. These are the kind of articles that you're going to get at the Alternative Sovereign. This is a wonderful piece about, he's got a Ron Paul quote here in the beginning. Freedom is not defined by safety. Freedom is defined by the ability of citizens to live without government interference. By Ron Paul. So this article goes over the Satanic Panic and everything that happened during that time, the fallout and such. And it's going to have a liberty spin on everything, because true nonconformity is liberty. And I also wrote my lovely review of the Chaos and Carnage Tour of 2025. And I go over things like, there was this coggy ass band called Corpse Pile. If you like them, more power to you. They weren't bad musically, but I wasn't a fan of their desire to try to talk politics on stage, regardless if some things that they said were correct. I found it cringe. So this is the kind of stuff you're going to see at the Alternative Sovereign. It's basically like any other music news site, but it's going to be non-left leaning. It is going to have liberty spins on such. Of course, it's sponsored by libertariangoth.com, the largest alt culture geared libertarian apparel shop. So right now we have about 5 articles. And let's see. We got a 5th one too. These are the latest 4. And I'm bringing this up to say, let's see. Bringing this up to say, if you are a writer and you are into the alt culture scene, music, even some movies, games, that kind of stuff, I am looking for writers. So if you are interested in writing for the Alternative Sovereign, and it's not a paying gig, if it does become, monetized, then it could be paying in the future. At this time, it is written entirely by volunteers, people that have the same sort of mission that is at hand, which is to help remove the tongue of alt culture from the boot of the establishment. If you're a writer and you would like to write for the Alternative Sovereign, you have something you want to say, you have something you want to review, or if let's bring it back up. If you have a band, if you know of the band, and you want us to review it, then right here, I have this little box. Got tips? Are you an up-and-coming band and want us to review your work? Email us. This does go directly to me. Please do not abuse it. But I am open to, if you want to be a writer for the Alternative Sovereign, go ahead and fill that out. Send it to me. If you want me to look into something, send it to me. I have gotten a few tips here and there. Unfortunately, they've just been kind of like in my threads where I'm not able to take good note of them. So if you want to go ahead and go to alternativesovereign.com, scroll down, go to this box, and give me those tips and bands. I would love to listen to them. I would love to get to know them and see what they got going on and, make an article for them. Now, I'm like I said, I'm looking for writers. If you're in a band and you want to write about your band, I welcome that too. The thing is that the mission is we want to try to pull alternative culture and such from the boot of the establishment. If that is something that you're in line with, please, by all means, fill that out, send it in. I would love to hear your band. I really would. Honest to God. Like, I really am all for this mission, and I would love to hear your band. I would love to hear any kind of ideas that you have, any tips, or if you want to write, please let me know. It is open. It is open for business, and I want to keep this going, make it happen. And the only way I can do that is with your help, with other people, other like-minded people that feel the same way that I do about rescuing like scenes and music that we hold so dear to us, that makes us us, to save it from these coggy motherfuckers. So that's my little 2 cents about the Alternative Sovereign. So that's kind of where we're going. I did start that because I was I was on a little hiatus from streaming, and so that's kind of what we're doing now. Got the little news site now. Impure Hunter, as you saw, he is also on Twitter. His Twitter name is, let's see if we can find his actual @ and I will give him a good shout out because he is actually my editor for the Alternative Sovereign. And he's such a cool dude. If you have any, if you want to approach me, if for some reason you don't like me, or but you want to be involved, or I scare you in some way, then go ahead and reach out to him, because he, I've told him that he's got free reign. He's the editor of it. He's completely on board with the mission of it. This is pulling up his profile right now on Twitter. This is Impure Hunter, the editor of the Alternative Sovereign. Of course, I'm editor-in-chief because it's my page, but he's got just about as much free reign as I do. So if you want to approach him, instead of approach me about a band, about tips, about anything, go ahead and give him a message, drop a message for him. Really cool dude. You know, if you just tell him, hey, I want to write for the Alternative Sovereign, he'll listen. He's a metalhead. He's cool dude. So hit him up if you are interested or if you have any tips. If you don't want to drop it in the little submission box. So yeah, awesome dude. Give him a follow too. This guy's really cool, really. Give him a follow. He's only at 2,178. Let's bump that number for him. All right, that's some rookie numbers. He deserves more than that. He's a really cool dude. Great writer. And he's been doing me lots of really good favors by taking on the role of editor. So, really cool dude. Anyway. All right. So in terms of things that have been going on, you know, like let's kind of wrap up here. I got about 9 minutes left. You know, I've been trying to keep track of things that Trump is doing, things that he hasn't been doing, like still no list. All right, I'm saving this photo. I'm saving this photo. It's got Pam Bondi, or it's supposed to be Pam Bondi right there. Saving this photo. Gonna go back to it. I will keep pulling it up on streams every time. Every time I have a stream, I'm going to pull up how there is still no list. Yeah? Bondi? That list on your desk? Is it still on your desk? Yeah? Yeah? But we want it. And I will probably pull that out toward the end of every show. But I'm just pulling this up right now because we have been promised the list so many times since my little hiatus. The list didn't hang itself. Yeah. No, the list didn't hang itself, and the list didn't write itself. Epstein wrote that. Okay? And he did. Not by his own hand. We know that. We need to summon the ex-autists for the same way we did for Ross. You know, that'd be wonderful. I don't see it happening though, because the powerful people on the list, I think they got so much power that that's not gonna happen. I don't see the list happening. It's gonna be one of those things that we're gonna continue to rally around and nothing's gonna happen. You know? Like, it's like asking Santa Claus to reveal himself. It's not gonna happen. Except the difference is that the Jeffrey Epstein list does exist. However, she came out today saying that there's so much CP footage of Epstein. Okay, we kind of knew that. Like, that was kind of a given that there's going to be footage because he was a disgusting cretin and he's going to film himself, like, victimizing these poor girls. So why... In other news, Pam Bondi, water is wet and grass is green and the sky is blue. Like, anything else you want to tell us that we already know, Miss Pam Bondi? You know, I really think that this might be the only way. But the no votes thing, they'll just appoint themselves. They will. They'll just appoint themselves. And they'll their own votes for themselves. Yeah, you know, that's just as corrupt. Honestly, that's probably just as disgusting of a list. That's probably the only time where you don't have to be a politician or someone in like an actual powerful position to get away with stuff. Is to actually work for the feds to get away with disgusting things like that. Like, otherwise, you know, be a politician, be a prince, be some sort of head of state, be a super rich person, like a techie. Then you can get away with stuff. But just work for the FBI. You get away with it easily. Yeah. Someone will pull a Snowden. You know, that person, like... So Snowden actually lived. I don't think that he would live if he left Russia. unfortunately. I think he would be Epstein. Um, but for the list to get out, I agree. I agree. That will be the only way. And that person would probably get the same treatment that what's his name? The guy that knew that it was people in the CIA, went to his friend's house and said that it was just like a clique within the CIA that did JFK. Oh yeah, that's another thing that came out. More JFK stuff, kinda. That the CIA was involved with JFK. We knew that. We knew that. Yes, okay. And dogs bark and cats meow. What else do you want to tell us that we already know? The CIA did JFK. We know they did. Anything else you want to tell us that we already know? Snowden did too much. They've had Western assets in Russia try to entrap him. Oh, well, that does not surprise me either. I honestly am shocked Snowden has not been Epstein by this point. So, yeah. Even in Russia, he can't reveal his location. See, I didn't know it was that deep where he's at in Russia, that it's like that. I am shocked, though, that Putin hasn't given him special protections if he has, or has he? I I would think that, okay, if I was the head of state of a country and my, I guess, rival country had a leaker that is staying in my country, I would give him the best protections. I would roll out the red carpet for him. So I don't know if Putin has done that, but I would think that that would be like the best thing for Putin to do is to roll out the red carpet for Snowden and keep him safe, because he's basically, yeah, not really an asset, but kind of like a little trophy, like, hey, I got your guy here. But yeah. Okay, I think we're going with that, and I would get completely taken down if, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know. I know. I think we need to pull funding from all foreign nations, and all foreign nations should stop meddling in our affairs. Flat out, straight up. That's it. That's the tweet. Okay. All right. So it was fun, y'all. It was a lot of fun. It's been wild, actually. We had some technical issues here. We discussed new words, or at least my terminologies for stuff. And, we went over some, current events. Some good, some bad, some funny. But honestly, it's never a boring day. Never a boring day. So I'm sure by next stream, it'll be a bunch of other wild stuff to go over. But it was wonderful to be back. I missed y'all. I do want to stream more. My streams are always late at night. I'm a night owl anyway. But I do want to thank y'all for coming out and saying hi, witnessing my cringe. So, and I hopefully will be streaming again soon. Hopefully, not so long, like I've waited, between before and now. Hopefully within the next week, I'll be streaming again, and we can talk and go over what else has happened, what else is going on. Alex Jones has been floating around something, and apparently Trump said he's got some sort of announcement Monday at the latest. And then there was that James O'Keefe thing about Prince Andrew that was pretty wild. So this time next week, or within the next week, hopefully we could, I'll come on here again and we will talk some fun stuff. And maybe I'll even just like stream about, discussing the Chaos and Carnage tour. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, Possum got me the VIP as a gift, and I'm very thankful for that. It was wonderful. Met Danny Filth since high school. That was just something that I've just, yeah, little high school girl again, just like, oh, you're Danny Filth. All right, so I do want to thank y'all again for coming out. Would it see my cringe? I love to see y'all, chat with y'all. But I do hope y'all have a great rest of your evening. I hope you enjoyed the chat, the chit chat here and there. And don't forget to always lead with kindness unless they don't deserve it.